Good morning, evening, afternoon. Masati here for Masati on Sunday. Hope you all are having a great Father's Day or will have a great Father's Day. I'm here in Barcelona at a special event, really fantastic event. Talking about aliens, consciousness, technology, AI, and how it can like enhance us rather than destroy us. So it's really an interesting conference. Anyway, because of that, I won't be doing the Masadi on Sunday live. Therefore, we're playing the best of Masadi on Sunday, and it's about Father's Day. And it's very, very special. The knowledge, obviously, XI knowledge is timeless. So even if you've heard it before, it's really fantastic for you just to listen to it again, especially if you've heard it before, because it allows you to go deeper. You'll see it from a different perspective and you go, oh, wow, there's more knowledge there. So, and for the new people, obviously this knowledge is so different than what you're used to. It'll start to awaken you. So if you have, say, fatherhood issues, or whether you're a father or, again, a child with fatherhood issues, it'll help you start to see a different concept of who you are, different, say, possibilities of what could be for you. And if you're more of an exponentially intelligent father, you can go deeper into the understanding on what fatherhood is really about, how it can enhance becoming a man versus destroy becoming a man. And along with that, I heard on a Joe Rogan podcast, he was talking about the people who do Marcus Aurelius, great philosophers like that. And he was talking about those individuals, and it's like all those great men that we look up to make horrible fathers. They literally make horrible fathers, right? And why is that? Well, because they didn't do success right. Although they might be the icon of societies, right? They're not probably the best fathers. They should be synonymous. If you are an icon of society, right? A man of, say, wealth, of stature, of influence, you should be a great father as well, because that should transform over. But it doesn't in today's society. Again, many successful individuals aren't the best fathers. Why is that? Because they didn't do success right. They didn't do it properly. So this Father's Day special is not just about fatherhood. It's about being that strong icon, being that strong man, so people can look up to you, whether you have kids or you don't. So take a look at the show. I'm sure you'll enjoy it, and I'm sure you'll glean and experience the deep frequencies that will help you transform, so you can recover from, say, fatherhood issues, or you can become that father that everybody wants to look up to, right? Peace.
I just wanted to connect with you for Moss on Sunday because I know it's a very, very special time, especially because it's Father's Day. I don't know if the UK, they might be starting to adapt Father's Day, but in the US, and maybe in other countries too, it's a big deal. Overall, I think it's a big deal. Universally, it should be, Father's Day, Mother's Day, Siblings Day, all that, and it should be each and every day. So I just wanted to make it a special Mass on Sunday for those fathers and those people who've had fathers, which would basically be all of us, right? That have, say, transformed our lives, whether it's a positive thing or whether it's a negative thing. And I'll do a special little medi to help you out towards the end, but we did do a Father's Day meditation just last week, by the way. So take a look at that if you're really in need of some, say, transformation because of your father. So, all right. Well, there's so many different programs out there on Father's Day, what a good father is, what a bad father is, and so on like that. We're going to take a look at fathers from an XI perspective and what fathers really are. And by the way, this is what we're going to be really honing in on the Ibiza event, okay? Because because we're going to be coming into, say, that strong masculine identity that we all need, and that strong feminine identity that we all need. And just to jump in, because of the time factor. This is just about fathers. So if I don't mention anything about women or mothers, because it's about a Father's Day. Okay. So let's not start that game. Well, you didn't mention mothers or anything, because it's about fathers. And some of you are like that, right? Because you want to be all equal. Well, that's the one thing that's highly, highly important. We're not all equal. That's really the key. Okay. So the number one aspect in the XI modality is that we're not all equal. Simple as that. We just aren't all equal. And in today's society, especially in some cultures, we're supposed to be fucking all equal. And we're not. We were built differently. We've got different parts. We've got different mechanisms and so on like that. Society overall has decided to, literally create everybody the same, everybody with the same possibilities and potential and rights and so on like that. It doesn't work that way. If it was, you're really bending nature's laws and nature's rules when you start thinking that way. And that's a huge, huge issue in today's society. And that's why so many kids are, fucked up. Simple as that. They're really fucked up because nobody knows who they really are. Right? And that's because nobody knows what a real father is. Nobody knows what a real mother is. Again, I'm going to be talking about the father side. Okay. The other aspect of it that I'd like to talk about is that, and I know I'm diving just right in. So, and that's, I don't like to mince words. The other aspect I'd like to talk about is, the missing fathers, or, fathers that don't take, say, a responsible role on there. That's really highly important. And part of that is, say, the Johnny Depp type fathers and so on like that. I don't know if Johnny Depp is a father or not, but still those types of individuals who have lost their identity as, say, a masculine man. Although Johnny Depp looks pretty masculine, out here in London, he's got all these Sauvage, some kind of perfume or cologne, whatever it might be, that, and he looks really, really rough and looks really, really tough, kind of like the scar on my face. And I'll explain how I got that scar, by the way, because some of you are wondering, I was like, how the hell did Moss get the scar? Did he go out to Soho and get, into a fight, into a brawl and so on like that? Nobody wants to pick a fight with me. I guess I'm pretty intense. So again, I tend to stay away from fights because of that reason, which is really good. Anyway. So people like that, or fathers like that haven't really, say, stepped up. I'm not saying Johnny Depp hasn't stepped up, but so we'll talk about that. And then the third aspect of it is what do we do? What do we do now that we're here, right? And that's really important. All that shit's already done, right? So how do we transform it? How do we shift it, right? All right, so back in the original, the number one deal is fathers. Again, fathers are very different than mothers, hence different body parts, different ideas, different concepts. In today's society, everybody is supposed to be equal, right? And you're not. You're not equal. That's why, again, the very, very different roles, and today's role structure over time, whether it's, say, employment, whether it's anything similar to that. And I'm not saying that, mothers should stay at home, fathers should stay at work. But here's the problem. And then you'll start to see, how it's all, been fucked up because of that. Okay. So in its original form, right? Men were supposed to go out and work and hunt and so on like that. And then women were supposed to stay at home. Women were supposed to stay at home, take care of the kids, cook and so on like that. In that original form, that's where it all got messed up. Okay. So I'm not saying men should go out and hunt and so on like that. That's an error in itself. Okay. In fact, in the lion species, the females go out and hunt. The lions hang out and protect the territory. Okay. So that's the number one issue, is that we've gotten roles. We've instigated roles that shouldn't be there. That's the one key problem, is that yes, men go out, men are the hunters, men are the aggressors, men are this, men are that, and then women are, say, the opposite. They're the female, they're the feminine, they're the softer version, and so on and so on. Well, those role structures or those role identities that we've solidified into society in today's culture, that's really the biggest problem that we've had. That's not true at all. It is not true. A man can be, say, a soft person. That a man can cry in society, and maybe it's getting softer today, but that's even incongruent as well. Men can cry, but those men who do cry are of a feminine nature. They're not a masculine nature becoming, a masculine nature showing their softer identity. They've turned feminine. And I'll give you an idea or concept on how that's worked. Okay, so the number one issue that is happening or destroying society is that, one, the roles that we've attached to women and the roles that we've attached to men are all fucked up. They're all fucked up. They're not according to our biology. They're not according to our genetic, say, structure. So over centuries, right, we've demonized each sex, and then over the centuries, since we've demonized both sexes, right, no one is stronger than the other. No one is weaker than the other. And it's not because there should be a weaker sex or there should be a stronger sex. It's just that both are demonized against each other, so they're both weak sexes. That's the problem. So in the XI structure or in nature, if you start to look at it, if you start to look at any animal species, and yes, I'm putting humans below, say, the animal species, because we've fucked it up a bit. If you look at it, the females of any species are very, very powerful. They know their role, they know their identity, and they're very, very fluid. The males in that species knows their role, they know their identity, they're very, very fluid, and they go back and forth depending on, say, the situation. In today's society, in human society, what's happened? This is a man's role. This is a human's role. So over time, and we'll take it till today, just because of time factors, I like to do, say, a deeper lecture on it. But over time in today's society, women now, and I'm sure it started back in the I think 70s, right, where women burned their bras and started coming into the workforce. And that's another infraction, basically, because nobody was kept home. Nobody was kept home to take care of the kids or have a unified, say, family. And that's the other issue. There is no, say, unified family anymore. And that's really fucked up as well. So, and I know it's an intense Father's Day, but, we want to get this all out. So all those fathers, and then those individuals who've had fathers, whether they're dead or alive, listening, it'll help you clear all that bullshit up so you can be, say, that best version of who you are, whether you're a man or a woman. So that's why it's a little intense. I'm here to help you, not here to spend some time with you and go, oh, yeah, that's a great talk. I felt really good. And you walk away, the same old person that you were. I'm not about that. This is XI is about, getting the truth out there, hitting it at, say, at a very cellular level so you can transform. Because that's what you're here for, right? You want knowledge. Do you want knowledge or do you want to transform? Or do you want both? Well, XI will give you both. But the key is with XI, you transform first and then the knowledge hits you later. All right. So anyway, back to, say, today's society, right? Today, women, has gone into the workforce. Unfortunately, what's happened, and this has even created more of a, say, deathful or wrongful situation, is that in today's society, since it was a man's role, not congruent, since it's a man's role to be in the work world, women have had to, say, give up their feminine identity, right? And by the way, women, they go out there and go, well, it's all because of man's fault and all that. That's all bullshit as well. Okay. I don't want to hear that. Again, it hasn't worked out. And that's another subject, by the way. Anyway, so what's happened is that women over time, being a working woman has turned into a man's identity or a man's role. So now the family structure has gotten fucked up even more. So now you have two masculine, two testosterone driven individuals that dominate the family. And then, and there's always that inner fight, right? There's always that inner argument, inner fight on who's dominant. And again, in the XI world, it should be a very fluid, depends on the situation. It could be the man that's dominant in that situation or the woman that's dominant in that situation. But in today's society, it's like we either one or the other. And then unfortunately, they pit against each other. And how they do that, it's not just internal, conflict, in the family structure, but, you have a lot of like sitcoms, a lot of the media, they deem the man as an idiot. Look at any sitcom. And it's not, is it just coincidence? It is. Of course not. It's literally trying to destroy the family function, the family nucleus here. No matter what sitcom you go to, you look at, and yeah, was it funny? Yeah, it's funny, but sitcom after sitcom after sitcom, it's like, fuck. Guys, is the guy really that dumb? Right? The guy's an idiot. He can't do anything. The women does all the things. Why is that? Right? Again, it isn't just random, and it's not just, well, it's because it's funny, and it could have been funny again a long time ago. But there's got to be something better than that, right? Something we can laugh at, that we don't demonize one side or the other. But as an outcropping of that, right? Men have been deemed dumb. And again, it destroys, say, the children's identity. Children look at that shit. And go, yeah, that's really funny. And, being funny, it's like, well, some parts must be true then. And then what happens? It's a downward spiral for today's society. So whether they're doing it at a, say, conscious level, whoever those people are, the leaders, I wouldn't call them leaders because they use deception, they use lies, they use propaganda and so on. That's not leadership. I do teach leadership courses the real way. If you want to be a leader, no matter how high you are, if you're using those type of, say standards or those type of concepts and ideas to lead, you're not a fucking leader. You're not a leader at all. I don't know what, you're a coward. You can't even admit that you're a coward because you lead that way. Anyway, that's another topic as well. A lot of stuff is coming up because all these little segments here and there lead to, say, the level of fatherhood that we have today. And I'm just pointing out those problems. All right. So whether, and again, this isn't just about, a father-child relationship. This is about, say, a father-child relationship, a father, father-mother relationship, a father, partner-wife relationship, a father being a leader, or a father, being a follower. It doesn't really matter. The key is that fathers are men. Think of it. Fathers are men, right? And some of you might get riled up. It's like, well, no, now we have, feminine fathers, women who are fathers and so on like that, which is totally fine. But then you guys don't do it right either, because you're fucked up just as well as the heterosexuals. So again, you need to define who you are at a deeper level and then own it. And that's the key. Nobody owns their fatherhood. Nobody owns their motherhood or any other, say, type of identity or label that you've labeled yourself with. Nobody owns it. It's all confused. So we need to bring back that structure, by the way. Let's take a deep breath in. And I know it's gotten intense. I guess that's what we needed to hear. So if you don't like it, you can always tune away and have your life be the same. But stay here and have your life change. It doesn't matter to me. It's all up to you. If you want to change the world, well, you got to change your identity or what you believe in. Because if what you're believing in is not working, and by the way, if you think it is working, take a look at your life. Is it working? Probably not. That's why you're here. So listen in, swallow it, get it. Just allow it to sink into you and let it change you. Okay. Get another concept. If your concepts and ideas aren't working, listen to something else or somebody else with different concepts. Simple as that. So let's take a deep breath in. All right. So with that in mind, the second phase, like I said, is that fathers have lost their identity. Women have lost their identity. So where do we go? So there's no role model. Either way, there is no role model either way. So what happens to the kids? Well, if the kids have no role model, they start to become weeds, right? And kids like to be disciplined. Now, the discipline that I talk about is not about, hey, you came home late at night and, I take your phone away, or, what's happening. In some cultures, it's like, hey, you're not supposed to date, because you're ex religion, and I'm going to take your phone away, or I'm going to ground you, or all that bullshit that happens out there. That's not the kind of discipline that I'm talking about. Discipline comes internally. Discipline comes from the parents, when the parents, in this case fathers, know who the hell they are. Straight out, they know who the hell they are. They know that they're strong. They know that they're strong individuals, not being like aggressive or assertive. They know that they're strong in their identity of who they are, and they own it. Okay. Now, there are some, say, masculine individuals who are gay, which is totally fine. Well, at least fucking own it. Right? Whether you're a father or you're not, just own it. It's like, yeah, I'm gay. Right? And own it. But a lot of fathers back in the day, what would happen, and I work with a lot of them, is that they were gay. And what would happen? They would hide it because it was against society's norms. Right? And then they'd have kids. They'd be married, they'd have kids, and then they would put that, say, distortion on their children. I can read it for a lot of you, right? Again, and then they'd have that, say, masculine, hard type identity that they were, strong men, because that's what strong men are identified, which was absolutely wrong. It's absolutely wrong. Strong men are not even identified that way. In fact, an alpha male, that's a total myth, by the way. The scientist who created the alpha male was totally wrong. That was an alpha female protecting its young in its original form, in its original, say, content, or in its origin. It was a female protecting its young, and that it became an alpha. Do you see how, say, that incongruency or that misconception of men being, say, strong like that, they have transformed to an alpha male? That's not true at all. Again, none of that is true. A man can be soft. A man can be, can be tough as well. Either way, but a man, a true man, a true father is an individual who really understands who he really is and loves it. He identifies with who he is. Again, whether you're softer or whether, you're out there in the jungle or whatever, whichever extreme that you think you are, or maybe somewhere in the middle, you should be that father that can go back and forth and be all those aspects, because your kids need all those aspects, all aspects of you, not one or the other side. You should be able to be strong enough to understand that, again, your child, and I'll say it again, your child might need something very, very different than what you portray, but you should be strong enough in a sense that you are, say, centered enough so you can, say, expand into what your children, say, need at that moment, and then expand and then contract back. It's called your inner expansion, by the way, a book of mine that I'll be writing pretty soon. Hopefully it'll be done this year. So that's really the key. So a father identity is one who knows who exactly who they are, okay? And loves themselves for it. Okay? Most people, father, mother, whatever, they don't love themselves at all. And then they take it out on their kids, right? Or they take it out on society, especially in a masculine role. Okay, in a masculine role, right? They demonize people and they destroy people and they abuse people and so on like that because of, say, this label that we put on is that the men are aggressors. That's not true. If you go back into society, and I don't have my phone, or maybe I do. I took a picture. Take a look at this. Guys, I want you to take a look at. I was watching this. Phone is starting. I was watching this this YouTube, and it was amazing because women go, men have fucked it up. Men throughout the centuries fucked it up. We women can do better. So, take a look at top 10 unholy things that European queens did. Take a look at that. Top 10 unholy things that European queens did. If you think, say, men are the cause or men fucked it up, because that notion has to disappear, right? Again, it's just like the sitcoms, right? That notion, that concept, that idea has to disappear so men can, come up. And then for men, stand up. What the fuck, guys? Stand up and be who you are. Right? If you're gay, just stand up and become gay and just fucking own it. Okay. And then raise that child that you have. Simple as that. Admit to your child, admit to yourself, admit to whoever, and just own it, because this world needs to own their own shit, no matter what they are. Heterosexuals, again, the same way. If you're a heterosexual, then own it, because it messes the sexuality of your kids up. And then over time, kids' sexualities get messed up, and you go, what the hell happened? Well, that's the reason why. And again, women are the same way, guys. So that's really the key, is like, you have to own it. You have to say that strong identity. You have to discipline yourself to, say, again, not destroy others or not destroy yourself by discipline. But discipline is showing that no matter what situation that you're in, you are of that strong identity, and you have, say, a concept of yourself that transcends, say, possibilities or transcends experiences or situations that you have. And then you're congruent all the time in front of your children. If you're congruent all the time in front of your children, and you have an aspect of yourself that you're always portraying, right? Congruency is the aspect that you have to be portraying to your kids. Not that, hey, I'm dominant. Not that, hey, I'm weak, or, I'm a sensitive man, or I'm a dominant man, or whatever type of men that there is, right? That's the incongruency. What kids are looking for is like, how stable are you? And it sounds really weird. How stable are you in space and time? How congruent are you within yourself? So you have, say, the same attributes, no matter what situation that you are in. So if you need to be an aggressive man to identify who you really are and stay who you really are, you will become an aggressive man. If you need to be that man that cries for your kid or whatever, then what happens is that, well, you become that man. But either way, you're stabilizing yourself, and to your children, you look stable. Okay? And you can go to either extreme, but the key is that you've stabilized yourself. That's what children are looking for, stability. Okay. Now I talk a lot about this, and I can talk a lot about this, by the way. But obviously we've got a limited time on Moss on Sunday. But for today's Father Day wishes, let's go ahead and take a deep breath in. Again, whether you're a father, a future father, or you've had a father, which would be all of us, obviously. Let's take a deep breath in. And just help you really reset who you are as a father. The other aspect of it is I forgot about missing fathers and so on like that. So whether your father died, say, early war, disease, and so on like that. Again, they were missing fathers, right? It's an identity that's highly, highly important. Or, in some sectors of socioeconomics, the father isn't there, right? So take a deep breath in. We'll work on that as well. If the mothers were of a strong identity, of a strong feminine identity, then, and this is the key, if, say, one parent is missing, if that one parent that's there, right, if they were of a strong identity, a strong mother, in this case, father's missing, then you would render a child, because your identity, again, is stable or congruent, your identity goes, oh, if your child is, say, a girl, it's like, oh, mom is a congruent female. I understand that. I become a congruent female. Okay. Or in a lot of cases, and this is what's happened, another breath in, just notice your chest, is over time, again, wars and so on like that, death and so on of males, which is another distortion of today's society. There's a lot of men that are missing. There's a lot of men, there's a lot of women that yearn after the men that are missing. And that's very destructive in the family genetic pattern, because then there's always a yearning for men, or always a need for men. So your love life, and I'll give you this example. The, 5 generations down, some guy, some men died in your family, that left a void in the female structure of your family. That void goes through the female and the male kids, right? That void can never be fulfilled unless you heal it somehow. Obviously, XI heals it for you, but you keep going through that void. Your love life, your identity of who you are, and all that starts to destroy itself, because that void of loss is always within whatever that you create. No matter how much abundance you have, because there's that void there, it'll always feel like a loss. Whether it's your sexual identity, whether you're raising kids, whether you're creating a successful business, that void will always be there, and it'll never be good enough for you. Okay, that's how impactful, say, a loss of fathers are, by the way, or a loss of men are. So let's take a deep breath in again. Other aspects, again, fathers, alcoholic, and so on like that. We cover all that in the fathers event that we did just last week. So take a look at it if you'd like to. Breath in again, notice your spine. There you go. And again, notice your spine again as you take a breath in. There you go. It's like mothers, fathers are human, but in today's society, we've left the human behind. We've turned into, say, a man, and then that man has duplicated itself into another version of itself called a father. So you're human, then you're a man, then you're 3 steps out of yourself. And that's where your incongruency gets messed up. Okay. Congruency that I'm talking about is that you're in one point in time as a human defining itself as a man, that's a father. Okay. So you're all that one individual. You haven't displaced yourself. Breath in again. Oh, there's one more space in between. You're either a husband or a partner. So human, male, husband, partner, and then a father. So that's 4 places out. That displacement is what fucks kids up, by the way. You have to be a human experiencing yourself as a man, which is experiencing yourself as a parent, right? Whether you're married or not, experiencing yourself again as a parent. Breath in. So for all those kids celebrating Father's Day, yeah, just note the things that your father has gone through. Right? I'm not saying you shouldn't blame them. It doesn't matter whether you do, it's all up to you. But again, just note all the patterns that that father of yours has gone through unbeknownst to him, just like it's unbeknownst to you, right? On how you are, the way you are. A lot of your patterns are just genetics that you've just absorbed, that you've said at some level yes to, not because you didn't know any better, but it's just a natural, say, phenomenon that happens through cell growth or cell structure, and then we become who we are. So again, observe that in your father. Okay, give him some slack. Okay, and then once you give him some slack, observe all the incongruencies within your father that you have the opportunity to fix. So you don't turn into a distorted version of yourself, whether you're female or male. It doesn't really matter whether you're a daughter or a son. And then you won't transfer that on. So it's your obligation this Father's Day to help your father and to help yourself clean up. Not as you did this to me, but again, hey, Dad, let's clean all this shit up so we don't have to continue this on. Right. And that way you guys can come more congruent with yourself and then reconnect with your father the right way. Right. So wishing you a very grand Father's Day. I hope this stern father talk basically spoke to you to a point to get your ass in gear and really take responsibility. Again, whether you're a father and then you do that to your kids, or your kids, do that to your father. Either way, give your father a call and go, hey, Dad, I see what happened. This is it. Some of you haven't talked to your fathers or vice versa, estranged. Again, give your father a call, right? He's probably waiting, or he might not be waiting, or he's dead. He's long gone. He's dead. Write a letter and then burn it, do it, or keep it, whatever. But just notice again the incongruencies. Again, a lot of times, it's a product of evolution, and the mothers are the same way. But again, Father's Day, it's a product of evolution, guys. That's all it is, right? They didn't know any better. Your father didn't know any better. So now that you do know better, maybe give this recording to your father. Right? Have hey, Dad, listen to this, and then get back together. And if you do have a great, loving father son connection, that's fantastic. Could it become better? Right? This stuff does work. I mean, I have 6 kids, guys, and all my kids, we just love each other, and I don't destroy them. They don't destroy me. They make me feel younger, more vibrant, because that's what kids should do, right? They make you stronger, younger, vibrant. And then the kids, they create, say, a sense of identity because you're there for them, creating a sense of identity. So no matter what age, my 12-year-olds, they're solid 12-year-olds, although they have the wisdom, they're ageless, because they have the wisdom of an older concept, although they're running their 12-year-old self. Okay? It's really, really quite a beautiful experience. If any of you have met my kid, you know what I'm talking about. Okay. So this stuff does work. It's real, guys. So again, reach out for your father, guys. Even if he's long gone or you can't find him, write a letter, get it all out of you. Don't hold anything back or don't hold a grudge or anything. It's not beneficial for you. Again, especially if they're long gone, it's too late. So do something about it for yourself. And if you can connect with your father, again, connect and stuff, or just let him listen to this. Say, hey, Dad, listen to this. All right. And then hopefully it'll mend. And then hopefully you will heal for it. All right, guys. Again, this is a recording. So I won't be taking live scans today, this time around, but next time around, I will take a live scan. Some of you, as I look at the camera, I've got this big, oops, that's on this side, big scar on me. How did that happen? I'm sure I should have probably covered this on in the beginning, but I was shaving and I use a straight edge. Again, it's the old razors. It's just a straight blade, basically. And I was shaving in the mirror, and then Befe happened to walk by, and I just glanced at her beauty, and then I just messed up and cut myself. So there you go. All right, guys. Again, as we end, as always, notice what you notice. Notice the details of what you're noticing, and then do something about it if you don't like it. All right. Peace.